The Israeli military has opened an inquiry into possible war crimes over allegations Israeli soldiers deliberately shot unarmed civilians near Gaza aid sites. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, hundreds of Palestinians have been killed over the past month at designated food distribution sites across the Strip. For more on this, I'm joined by Middle East spokesperson for the Norwegian Refugee Council, Ahmed Bayram. Ahmed, good to have you with us today. Now, several hundred killed also according to UN figures. There's been several of such incidents in the past few weeks, and that leaves many people asking, how can this still be happening?
Absolutely. A question we don't have an answer to, a question we have been asking all this time. We have warned that this is going to be a disaster. It's proving to be exactly that. 600 people killed, and just to put this into perspective, the total of people killed in Gaza during the month of June was just over 2,000, so around 2,100. 600 of them were killed around sites where these people were trying to feed their children. While, of course, injury rates are also as high and much higher, of course. This can't continue simply because, every time Israel pulls people back from the brink, pretending to be doing that by giving them a few boxes of food that won't last them the week, it kills more people. And it kills more people trying to feed their children, trying to feed their babies, while depriving them of everything else. There's so much focus on food, rightly so, right now in Gaza, that we're not talking about anything else. We're not talking about tents. We're not talking about baby formula. We're not talking about water, clean water. It's because Israel has created that distraction, and it has created that in the most disorderly way, in the most chaotic way possible.
If this has to stop, as you say, where are the levers that are going to be pulled to ensure that this doesn't happen again? Because the powers to be, in this case, are Israel and the United States.
I mean, Girish, lots of times we feel like we're going on screen just to vent. Honestly, this is what we have been reduced to as aid workers. We keep saying, there's tons and tons of food, huge volumes of food, of shelter kits, of baby items waiting across the border. And the more we talk, the more Israel gets of that free reign that it is getting, that free hand. How can you trust conflict, whoever that party is? How can you trust party to the conflict to be the feeder as well? We keep asking that. That's something we couldn't imagine happening, and it is happening. It's a nightmare. That has to stop, because diplomacy has worked in other places. It has proved that it can actually work in the Middle East, of all places, of course. It has to happen now, and Israel's allies in Europe, in the US, of course, above all, they have to be firm. They have to be serious about this, because looking back at all of what's happening, what is your role in this as big allies, as big powers? Is it to encourage more of these actions, to encourage more of the killings that are happening around not just displacement sites, not just overcrowded shelters, but also aid distribution points?
Yes. And what is your understanding in terms of an independent investigation into what happened? Because the Israeli military acknowledged that Palestinian civilians were harmed at these centers and, quote, lessons were learned. But is that a good enough outcome in the context of the IDF essentially investigating itself?
I don't know what lessons they're talking about. We keep hearing about people being killed around these points, not just these points. My colleagues were telling me that aid warehouses are also being bombed. Only this morning, more people in overcrowded shelters were bombed. I mean, Israel has been talking about lessons learned for almost 2 years now. What have we learned? We have learned that people are being starved. We have learned that baby formula is running out. We have learned that there's a famine on the verge, an entire population on the verge of that famine. And like I said, every time, Israel does anything that is deemed enough to pull people from that brink of famine, because it's not right that an announcement of famine is being made. It's not convenient in the politics. I don't think it has to stop. The whole thing has to stop. Investigations, of course, we need those. Of course, we need, accountability. But we see it. We see it, repeating itself. We see more killings. We see more deaths around these areas. And one number probably puts it all into perspective. We used to have 400 food distribution points in Gaza. Israel has reduced that to 4%. Four distribution points. That is 1%. Israel is giving, population of Gaza 1% of what they need, and it's giving them that in a deadly way and in a very violent way. You can't be the feeder and you can't be the occupier at the same time.
Yes, and how would you describe, the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and how they have been managing these sites where this thing is happening? They are backed by the US and Israel. Should they be handling the aid distribution, and are they experienced enough to be in that situation, effectively in a war zone?
Absolutely not. And you see the results. You see it every single day. The numbers speak for themselves. Even if you look at the portions and the rations that are being given to people, I hear they're not enough for 2 days. They can't last you for 2 days. You have thousands and thousands of experienced professional aid workers on the ground from the community themselves who give aid independently, who give aid without any other calculations, military or otherwise, like Israel is doing with this GHF project, which I don't even call an aid project. It's more of a tool to impose more of that security and military control over Gaza. So the solution is there. It's not like we are creating something from scratch here. We're not reinventing the wheel or anything. We have the tool. We have the people. Just give us the safety and allow the food to come in. Allow the tons and tons of shelter items, of kitchen items, of baby items, of everything that people need. Allow them to cross those few miles and reach people. So no, GHF is not qualified to do this, and even more dangerously, it's actually doing a very bad job, and you can see that. You can see the whole project is doing very badly, and you can see it from the resignations, you can see it from the confused statements that keep coming out, and you can see it from, above all, of course, the deepening starvation and the level of death and violence that is associated with this.
Okay, Ahmed Bayram from the Norwegian Refugee Council, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.